Rapid Solicitors, sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Accident compensation and medical negligence claims.
Hello and welcome to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. Congratulations to the Nottingham Panthers. They are the Elite Ice Hockey League champions, but we've still got to find the winners of the two conferences. And who are the 8 that will make it through to the playoff quarterfinals? Here's what we've got coming up for you this week. The Nottingham Panthers are the Elite League champions. Jordan Fox lifts that trophy. The Hull Stingrays battle it out, and it was a battle with the Dundee Stars. And the Cardiff Devils are the 5th team to make it through to the quarterfinals of the end of season playoffs. A very good evening to you folks. You'll see I'm joined by former Sheffield Steelers captain Ron Shudra, a man who knows the odd thing about winning a league title or two. Something that Jordan Fox now knows as well, folks. The Nottingham Panthers, Elite League champions. They did it in style. They did it at the Odyssey Arena in Belfast. Sit back and enjoy.
It was the day of reckoning for the Nottingham Panthers. They went into the Odyssey Arena knowing victory would secure them the Elite League title. We had a feisty opening to the game, both sets of players getting involved, and eventually Clark and Matheson dropped the gloves. Not renowned for their fighting. Clark used to fight in his younger days in the EIHL, but nowadays he's more about scoring goals and grabbing assists rather than fighting. But he put up a good show there. He shaded that one. And that was one up for Nottingham on the fight card. But then another tussle over in the corner. It was Wilson getting involved, and it was Rycroft too. The two of them going toe-to-toe. This one wasn't so explosive as the Clark and Matheson fight, and the linesman getting involved there to stop that one going any further. So no goals at this stage in the game, but we had that explosive opening that maybe both sides wanted, and that exciting times that both sets of fans wanted. 750 Nottingham fans had made their way to Northern Ireland, but maybe some nerves set in. Jonathan Weaver bringing down Clark. Penalty shot, says Michael Hicks. We have a moment of drama in the early stages. And here we have Clark one-on-one. He gives the Belfast Giants the lead. 17:45 gone. Is it going to be a first period lead? But Nottingham hit back, and they showed why they were, at that stage, champions in waiting. Perfect pass from David Ling, and Graham has time to make it 1-1. One period gone, and we're tied at 1. To period 2, and the Belfast Giants came out fighting. They had a great first period, but they were to score first as well in period 2. Right on the doorstep, Surrett, a great find by Doug Christensen, and the 11th of the season, 2-1 to the Belfast Giants. Nottingham had a better second period than they did first. David Clark shooting from left side, and the game was level at 2. And then for the first time in the game, the Nottingham Panthers went ahead. Giveaway in defence there by Roberts. A cool play from Ling. He just delayed. Murphy went down, and Nottingham were leading by 3-2. But the Belfast Giants weren't done. They've shown time and time again this season why they are a terrific side. And Keith on the breakaway, he scores to make it 3-3. It's nervous. It's tense. The Giants have to win. Nottingham know they can win in penalty shots or overtime. They have a late power play. Benedict, the former Giant, sets up Gadavan across the netminder and top shelf. It's 4-3, and Nottingham sense that the title is theirs. Christensen and Belfast gamble by pulling Murphy, and the break down the ice sees Francis score into the empty net to seal the victory and that Elite League title that means so much for them. Corey Nielsen and Rick Strachan deserve the accolades coming their way. Nielsen lists the trophy, a special moment for him, and the Panthers celebrate being Elite League champions 2012-13.
The Nottingham Panthers Elite League champions. Congratulations to Corey Nielsen, Rick Strachan and Jordan Fox, the leaders of that team there in Nottingham. They had a terrific season and they've simply been the best team throughout the year, haven't they?
They have. They've been consistent from start to finish. If you look at the record at the beginning, the middle and the end of the year and the goals they probably had for those parts of the season, I think they've met them and exceeded them, to be fair. Their
big players have been their best players as well. Kowalski has been the best goalie. David Ling has come in and has just he's just a locksmith. He's just picked so many locks, hasn't he? But defensively as well, they've been a lot tighter. And I put a lot of that down to Eric Werner, who came from Italy. But collectively as a team, top, middle and bottom, head and shoulders the best team.
Oh, definitely. And like you say, it all starts at the top. And, they're going through a system that Corey's put in place and Rick's put in place. And they're coming out and, like you said, their big guns are showing up all the time. They're not being sporadic and here, there and everywhere. You've got to have your big guys going all the time, right from net minding, as you say, from defense to forwards, finding all the ways to score goals, all the different ways they can score goals. And we've seen it time and time again. They don't just score off a rush, or they don't just score on a power play, they don't just score, with a guy in front of the net. They do everything and they score from anywhere.
Just before we have a look at a little bit of analysis there, a quick word on Corey Nielsen, because over the last 3, 4, 5 years, that man has been under so much pressure, and the other 9 teams have tried to put him under that pressure because they all feared what would happen if Nottingham did win that first title. I would imagine huge relief for him, but what a great job he has done this year.
This year, like I said, and to be fair, being a player,
he's won 2 double-doubles, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, and to be a player as well, whilst trying to coach. I mean, obviously, you have a bench coach come in and do a lot of stuff for you, but he's on the ice a lot as well. He was doing a lot this year. He took a little bit of a step back from being on the ice, hasn't he? So I think he's been able to see more from the bench and react differently and treat the team differently. Because he can see more. So pressure, he's been under a ton of it lately.
57 years out to wait for it. Here is the championship winning goal. And this will be one for the quizzes down the line. Benedict.
Great power play goal here. You can see Lakovic throw it down the boards on a little cycle play on the power play. Guy in front just gets lost, and it's a great play across the net. This one would have been a goal no matter what, with a penalty, an empty net. It's a given goal. He wouldn't even have had to put it in the net for it to score. But and then again, you look at what everybody in the league wants to raise, and unfortunately only one team can do it. And this year it was Nottingham's turn.
And Jordan Fox, we spoke about him the last time you were here. Yeah. A forward who's committed to lead a team. What a great job he has done.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job as well. It's tough to be a player, but it's tough to be a captain in a league as well. Yeah. There's a lot of responsibility thrown on your shoulders, and you have to raise your game, because now you're someone that everyone else is looking up to, and to try to help everybody out as well.
People talking of a Grand Slam. You've won a Grand Slam. It's hard to win the first one, but to keep it going as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't give yourself an opportunity to win it, you're not going to obviously have a chance to. So, they've done the double already. They're looking at trying to get something else, and you never know. We'll see what happens.
They've won 2 doubles in the last 2 years, as Ron's just alluded to there. Can they win the treble? Who knows? Right, more hockey action for you now. Sky Dome Arena, where the Coventry Blaze were taking on the Sheffield Steelers. There was a bit of importance to this game because these 2 teams knew that they were going to be facing each other in the post-season. So, a little bit of animosity. Who would come out on top, Chris?
Coventry Blaze have been one of the form sides in recent weeks. Paul Thompson's men, of course, have been out of the title race for some time. But the playoffs are around the corner, and they were in great shape. But they fell behind after 87 seconds. Ashley Tate on the power play, Saric and Ferguson setting him up. And then, would you believe, 34 seconds later, Jonathan Phillips scores a 12th goal of the season. So 2 goals in just over 2 minutes at the Sky Dome, and both went the Sheffield Steelers' way. The Coventry Blaze are in disarray, and you don't give Jeff Le Gui a breakaway. Short-handed, he scored, and that was at 7:14 for 3-0. And then short-handed again, Coventry pressing, but another giveaway, and this time it is Danny Myers who speeds away and scores. 16:50 gone, a 4-0 first period lead. Surely it is game over. Well, there was a quiet period before Jorgensen scored a 3rd goal of the year. Good to see him back from injury. So that made it 5-0. Coventry scored through Josh Bruce. finally on the score sheet in the third period at 43:05. That was 5-1. But the Steelers just went back down the ice, and 44 seconds later, Gertson scored a 21st of the year for 6-1. The Coventry Blaze did wake up in the third period. Griffin scoring. Good day for Coventry's Brits. It was 6-2 at 48:23. And then just past the midway point in the third period, one end of the ice to the other, it was Cameron who got the assist on a goal for Campbell. Quickly down the ice he was, and then he had the hard work to do for the wraparound. Nice goal from him. That made it 6-3. Steelers had a couple of later power plays in the game. Le Guy got a second of the night. That was goal number 7 for the Steelers. And there was still time for a bit of rough stuff. The Coventry Blaze let their frustrations boil over. Campbell getting involved and then being restrained by the linesman and getting involved this time with a limp right. Campbell was to sit for a double minor for that incident. And there was another incident before the game had finished. Here you see Tyler Michelle going for slashing, Olsen going for a double roughing minor. Both sets of players moved in to help each other out, but this one was quickly brought under control by Carson, Kavanagh and Young. Final goal of the night won't surprise you to see that it went to the Sheffield Steelers. It was Phillips with his second of the evening. Final score, Coventry 3, Sheffield 8.
A super victory then for the Sheffield Steelers, Ron, and I don't think any of us expected that one because, you know, Coventry in that great run of form, you'd expect them to come out as the Coventry as old, especially in the first 10 minutes, not find themselves 4 down. Yeah,
it was very surprising to pretty much everybody that, they come out a bit slow in that sort of game, but then, you know, give credit to Sheffield jumping on right away, scoring a couple of real quick goals, a couple of shorthanded goals. You know, it's a tough thing to give up. Goals like that early on and quick, one after another.
Sheffield aren't a team that score a lot of goals as well, are they? They're pretty much, if you're going to win a game, they'll win it 3-2, 4-3, something like that. So a lot of confidence. Jonathan Phillips, the captain, got a couple as well. Yeah,
I mean, it'll do a lot to boost their confidence going into obviously the playoff series with them. You know, a little bit of how's he said, feistiness, let's say.
Yeah. That's Chris's word, isn't it? He likes that word.
He loves that word. So I mean, there's going to be some battles going on in the playoffs, and as long as both teams keep it under control, that's going to tell. You've seen with shorthanded goals and power play goals, if it continues on like that during the season or during the series, you know, it could be over really quick.
Let's take a look at a couple of those short-handed goals. One I know of Jeff Le Guy you really liked.
Yeah, I mean, with Roddy, they're putting a lot of pressure on, but Jeff skating down the ice. Who else do you want to have on a breakaway? This guy. I mean, he's got super hands. I mean, I was sitting there watching that thinking he's going high glove, and then he throws it stick side with just absolute quick hands.
What about this for a burst of speed, Danny Miles? Where's that come from?
We said that as well, and like you said, he didn't just beat 2 guys on the point that they can't skate. He come through there with a lot of speed, and again, another great finish, looking like he's going one side and putting in a top shelf on the blocker side. Great shot.
And a boost for the Sheffield Steelers going into that series because the Sky Dome, tough place to go and win.
Horrible place to play if you're not the home team. Let's put it that way. There's, you know, you never know how the ice is going to be. You never know how your bench is going to be, let alone what the game's going to be like. So you got to go in. You got to play hard. You got to go dirty and play, you know, in the corners and in front of the net because the building's tight. And if you're not prepared to do it, you're not going to come out.
Time for a break now. More from Ron when we come back. He'll be discussing the game in the Gardner Conference. The Braehead Clan taking on the Dundee Stars. You don't want to miss that one.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Welcome back, folks, to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. Just before we go up to Braehead to see how the Clan got on against the Dundee Stars, there was another game on Saturday. We haven't got the footage, but we'll show you the graphics just to confirm the score of the Hull Stingrays game against the Cardiff Devils. You'll see Cardiff running out 4-2 victors. Osmond and Tendler scoring for the Stingrays. Davies, McRae and a pair from Blight, the scorers for the Cardiff Devils. Now that game pretty much ended the hopes of the Hull Stingrays making it through to the final 8, if you like, as far as the league standings were concerned. They still had one game left in their conference to see if they could make it through to the playoffs via that system. You'll be able to see the highlights of that very shortly. Right, after Braehead we go. The Clan versus the Dundee Stars. All yours, Chris.
With Braehead's win in midweek, it would have given them lots of confidence going into this game. Huge game for both sides. Who's going to win the Gardner Conference? Both these sides still can. What a start for the home side, though. 28 seconds gone. Robert Farmer scoring his 20th goal of the season. But the period belonged to Braehead in terms of shots on goal, 18-7. But it was 1-1 on the score sheet when Wirral was allowed too much space in the slot. 11:51 gone, and we're tied at 1. In period 2, though, 19-8 the shots on goal in Braehead's favour. But the Stars scored through Ryanen, somehow finding his way past Mike Will. The shot there, and it is 2-1. And then things got better for Dundee. They came away with Christian Harper, and he scores. 3-1 to the visitors, and the game is going Dundee's way. But the Braehead Clan had plenty of fight in them. They took their time to get back on the score sheet. The period was coming to a close. They tried once, they tried twice, and then they came again. Perseverance, and Goldie scores a 31st goal of the season. 1-goal game then, going into the third period. Who would come out on top? Because if the Dundee Stars won, it would be a massive boost for them and a bitter blow for the Braehead Clan. First of all, Hansen from right side, a 6th goal of the season. That levelled the game up at 3. And the Braehead Clan were inspired by that. And it was Goldie who began to run the show. 1 goal already. And then he scored here. It was kept in the zone by Goldie, left-hand side. He went right-hand side. Terrific finish. 4-3 scoreline at 47-31. Still things were going Clan's way in this third period. They were getting the puck towards the net. Goldie and Krestanovic are the creators with this one. A power play goal for Shepke, and it was 5-3. And Braehead Clan was surely happy that the points were going their way. There was one more goal in the game, and it was an empty net situation. Dundee were gambling, they pulled the netminder, and Goldie got his hat-trick goal into the empty net. Braehead 6, Dundee 3.
A super victory then for the Braehead Clan over the Dundee Stars. Remember, tonight is another game between those two teams as they try and finish off the conference. The Braehead Clan seem to have found their winning ways just at the right time again after that barren spell. Yeah,
I mean, you know, you've got your superstars, or not your superstars, your go-to guys, let's say, the ones that show up night in and night out. You know, they're doing that right now. Some of the other teams, you know, some of their guys are a bit on and off, bit of hit and miss. But these two guys with Goldie and Krestanovic, they seem to be just building on a partnership that they already have.
Yeah. With all due respect to Jay Galbraith, the injury has kind of caught up with that body, and we've seen almost a little demise of him. And Goldie's kind of come in and grabbed the ball by the horns, hasn't he? He's been the man who's kind of said, hey, Braehead, we're in a bit of a rut. I'll grab you, jump on my back, boys. I'll carry you through. And that's what you want from your leaders, isn't it?
It is. I mean, you need to have players like that can step up when other players, you know, like you say, if it's injuries or they're not contributing one way or another, you have someone that, like you say, can grab it and say, right, I'll take you, you know, ride my coattails. Let's get through it. And then we'll see. Hopefully, when we need you, you know, we might only need you for one shift if you can do it. And I'm sure they will come through in the end. But those two players, definitely Krestanovic and Goldie, right now are carrying that team.
And Goldie seems to score goals, all kinds of different goals on cue. Let's just see them right now. His hat trick here against Dundee.
Yeah, I mean he's in front of the net. He's battling hard to get into place. He's between two guys and quick hands in front of the net and a netminder. You know, he does. He scores from everywhere. You look here, bit of a fortunate bounce, but look, he's a quick turn, quick wrist shot towards the net through a screen, as you can see with a netminder. Doesn't know what's coming, and he puts himself in a position to score goals. Here again, it's good hard work, battle. You know, 180-foot wrist shot into an open net. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Give him credit to have the confidence to do it there, and not missing it. Play comes back in your own end. You never know what's going to happen.
Let's just take a moment to reflect on Galbraith, a guy who, you know, I've chaired his fan club for a number of years when he was in Nottingham and in Braehead. just a guy, I'm a lucky man, I don't have to pay to get into an ice rink, but he's a guy I would not have any hesitation in paying over my admission money for. If it is to be his last year over here, I think everybody should thank him for a great service and thoroughly entertaining us.
He is. I mean, he's another one of those players that, you know, he loves the game. He goes out there night in and night out. He tries to do the best he can all the time, and like you say, he's got an ability and a talent to score goals and be in positions and entertain at the same time. Everything you want in a character that a team can put forward.
He had ability, he had the golden hands, didn't he? But he also had a
Super
bit
hands.
of attitude, and he also had a bit of character, and that's what kind of endeared everybody to him.
It is. That's what it is. I mean, there's the product on the ice, but then there's a product that you can build up around players, or that they can show everybody that they do have the off-ice stuff that not everybody can do, or some people have to really be forced to do it. Some players and some people with that personality, they show it all the time, and they're happy on the ice, they're happy off the ice, and the crowd loves them for it.
Yeah, and I would imagine that if you are the Braehead clan, you want to keep hold of Ash Goldie, because
Definitely.
you have to go through a lot of players before you find one of those studs that you want to keep hold of for a while. Build your foundations on him, build your franchise on him, make him your star.
You can do. I mean, you know, all the teams, obviously, everybody plays everybody and has a short list of players that other teams have brought in over the season. Well, you know, could we prize him away? Where could we put him in our lineup? Would he fit here? Would he fit there? You know, would he play well alongside this player and that player if we kept them? You know, and sometimes you look at players that are on let's say lower placed teams, that they're superstars on that team, but you bring them into a bigger club, and all of a sudden, you know, they're not the big fish, and now they're not playing first line and getting all the ice, and they struggle. Whereas you get guys that, you know, they go out and they're really good players on good teams. They can fit into just about any team with any player. So that's what they've got up there.
When we come back after the break, game 2 of the weekend between the Belfast Giants and the Nottingham Panthers. This one not for a championship, this one for the conference title.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Hello and welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. Well, we've already seen the Nottingham Panthers win the league. That, though, was on a Friday night. There was still Saturday night hockey action at the Odyssey Arena. The Panthers were back for game 2. Now, you might think no real meaning to this game, but there was, because there was still a chance that the Belfast Giants could win the Earhart Conference. Would there be a little Nottingham hangover from the night before? Would the Belfast Giants be able to claim their 2 points? Chris Ellis will tell us.
So it was the current champions against last season's champions. The second game of a doubleheader at the Odyssey Arena. Of course, 2 in 2 nights. Nottingham securing the title the previous night. But it was the Giants who came out on top early on here. Fournier cutting inside and scoring nicely past Dan Green in net in place of Craig Kowalski. Sandrock scored on the backhand to make it 2-0. That was the end of the scoring in the first period. But surprisingly, this one got quite feisty. The Gardner Conference may well be really tight, but there's only 2 teams that can win the Earhart Conference, Nottingham and Belfast, so that was on the line. Here you see a cross-check from Beckett. It got him thrown out of the game, and then he went toe-to-toe with Adam Keefe. Good fight, this. Beckett getting the early punches in, then Keefe comes back. Really was a good old-fashioned hockey fight between the 2 of them. Shirts coming off, and certainly the 2 of them went toe-to-toe for a good while. Nottingham got back into the game on the power play. Just as the previous night, Ling had set up Bruce Graham to score. Well, Ling did it again. Graham down on one knee, controls that one into the back of the net. It's a 2-1 hockey game in period 2, and that's the way it stayed going into the third period. And Belfast Giants just managed to turn it up a notch, and they scored through Rycroft on the doorstep 62 seconds into the period. That made it 3-1. Then on the power play, Sandrock made it 4-1, his second of the night. Celebration times for the Giants. They were able to smile a bit after the disappointment of Friday night. Things then got feisty once more. Nottingham trying to come forward here. Ling scores a goal to make it 4-2. And then you'll see what I mean by this feistiness. Again, seemed to come out of nowhere. The play was developing for Nottingham. Bit of tussling going on in front of the net, then down on the boards on the right-hand side, and a number of players getting involved here. Nottingham Panthers' Jordan Fox seems quite annoyed about something. Just starting to try and pair up with a few players. It was Lloyd for the Belfast Giants. Phillips is there too. A couple of punches being traded on the boards. A number of players getting involved. In the end, the penalties being called on this situation, where Wilson went to the penalty box for the Nottingham Panthers. Also Lee for the Belfast Giants. You saw Garside and Lloyd. It's Ling getting involved here with Garside. The two of them getting involved once more. Just when you thought the incident began to die down, it flared up slightly. But that one was finally over. Belfast scored the final goal of the night. It was a one-timer from Surrett with the gaping net. Final score, Belfast 5, Nottingham 2.
Oh, it was feisty at the Odyssey Arena, wasn't it? Feisty. I think Chris has got a new word there. Little side note to that game, you'll have seen the incident run. Ling with the punch to Garside, they get in a scrap. Garside's popped his shoulder. Probably won't pay for the Giants, you know, for the end of the year now. Also affects the GB side as well. You know, Garside's an important cog in that wheel, isn't he? He plays with Lloyd and he plays with Keith on that line that shuts other teams' first lines down. A big blow.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's a big blow to club and country. To be fair, if he can't get through the injury, you know, he is a big part of that club. He can play a bit of short-handing, but power play, and obviously he's pretty solid on that line that he is. He creates stuff, and it's going to be a very, very big blow to try and.
Big loss for him.
Yeah.
Now, folks, we don't condone the use of a stick or a high stick at all. But if you asked 100 hockey players who they'd like to hit most with the stick, I'm guessing most of them in the Elite League would say Lloyd of the Belfast Giants. Beckett got hold of him out, but this is why we love Adam Keefe. Let's just show the highlights. Yeah, this is a captain for him.
It is. It's a captain coming to the aid of a player on the ice. We've seen it, time and time again when players are going to step up and do things like this. It shows great leadership. We've seen it in games this year where players, you know, have seen something like that and reacted by turning around to a referee instead of going in and sorting it out on the ice. Don't leave it to the officials. Go in there and sort it out. See what happens. You can see a player taking a stick off a face, not once but twice. You've got to jump in. You've got to do something. Yeah,
all credit to Adam Keefe. We like Adam Keefe. Right, time for the Five Flyers and the Edinburgh Capitals. This was the first of a two-game series, Saturday-Sunday battle in the Gardner Conference, in the Elite League. This game had so many meanings on so many levels. Saturday night, though, was at Kirkcaldy. Off you go, Chris.
Another massive game in the Gardner Conference. Fife against Edinburgh is always tasty, but there's some serious playoff hopes on the line. The rebound there for the Fife Flyers' first goal. Wilson, a third goal of the season, and the celebrations began in the early stages, just 1:41 gone. To period 2, and it was goal number 2. Again, it was a bit scrappy, but it didn't matter. Haynes with the 24th goal of the year, 2-0 at 25:01. 25:54, the Fife Flyers scored goal number 3. This time it was Dutium, the man who scores. Again, it was really scrappy, but the Fife Flyers were leading by 3-0, and they were thrilled. There was Edinburgh's chance to come back in the game in the second period. They may have been outshot by 20 shots to 8, but this was a good goal by Dobrin, cut inside and went top shelf. That was a terrific finish. That was 3-1. So with a 2-goal game with a period to go, every chance of getting back into the game. But the Fife Flyers were strong again in the final period. They scored through Keller, an 8th of the season. That made it 4-1. Celebrations were really continuing then, and it looked like the Fife Flyers had got this game in the bag. Now, there was a tussle on the boards here. Patry and Pitton, the pair of them, going toe-to-toe. The fans certainly seem to be enjoying it in front of us. And that was Pitton. Really a bit of one-way traffic there. And the pair of them are eventually broken off. So 4-1 to the Fife Flyers. Could the Edinburgh Caps get back into the game? It was to be the Flyers scoring the final goal of the night. Pitton with his 24th of the season. Fife Flyers 5, Edinburgh 1.
As we said just before we got into the highlights of that game, 1 of 2 between the Flyers and the Caps. Advantage Fife Flyers. And what we saw there in the highlights, a thoroughly deserved victory.
Yeah, they were just talking off camera about how a lot of the goals were scored. They were scrappy goals, in tight, something that they definitely need to work on in front of their own net. There's a lot of goals scored in there, and you got to be strong. If you're not, goalie's not on the ball with rebounds, they're ending up in the back of the net, and about 3 or 4 out of 5 there were.
We're talking more and more about the big lad, Pitton. Got the big beard, got the big aggression. Seems to be the big character up in Fife. Scores goals, makes hits, wins fights. Does a bit of everything for him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like you say, he's a character guy. Does a bit of everything. He works hard. He gets himself in positions, puts himself along the boards where players are going to come at him. And if players come at him a little bit too aggressive, he's got more than enough to take them on.
Okay, time for more action now, more Gardner action as well. And actually the very final game of the season in the conference for the Hull Stingrays. Any lingering hopes? They had to beat the Dundee Stars. Didn't look too good for them though.
A good old battle at the bottom of the table here. Both sides desperate for points, really to push their playoff hopes, although Hull Stingrays' hopes are fading fast at the moment. In the first period, the tip in front by Bagran at 9:28 on the power play. So this was 1-0 to Dundee. You'll see a pattern emerging over the next few goals. It got feisty as well. Both sets of players getting involved throughout the game. More of this to come. In fact, it turns quite ugly at times as well. But that was really the entree, should we say, of what was to follow. So a power play goal had put the home side in front, and then it was goal number 2. Baxter with his 11th goal of the season. Bowen and Ryan setting this one up, again with the extra man advantage. To period 2 then, Dundee very much in control of this game, on the scoreboard at least. Right on the doorstep there was Bagran, his 2nd of the night, and 18th of the season now, again with the man advantage. So that made the scoreline 3-0, and then another real bit of trouble. Big hit on the boards, reaction from both sides. Players were just piling in. It was Sylvain Cloutier who ended up the most furious for what he had seen. Tried to go towards Hutchins there. He was held back. All sorts of players coming across. And then it went towards the benches as well. Still Cloutier. The linesman doing a very good job there. Kieran O'Halloran holding him back. In fact, he was getting him under control well there, but he went towards the bench. It earned him a match penalty for travesty of the game. So 3-0 was the scoreline at this stage. And of course, the pattern continued. Power play goal there for Wirral. 32nd of the season. Ryan and Baxter were the ones who set that one up. And then still on the power play. Once more, it was worked well. Ryan and Bagran this time for Wirral. 2nd of the night, so a 33rd goal of the season. A shutout at one end for Riopel, a 32-shot shutout, a 5-0 win. But there was more trouble as well. You see it developing here. Players now in the right-hand corner and in front of the Hull bench. Ryan Hamd getting a match penalty here for fighting. And the Hull Stingrays players just losing their tempers as the game came to a close. Final score, though, in Dundee. Stars 5, Hull 0.
One of the reasons we love hockey so much, name me another sport where you can use the word travesty of the game. What a great word that is. Travesty for the Hull Stingrays is that they're pretty much done now in both conference and in league. And I would suggest to you, Ron, that's an underachievement for them with the squad they put together at the start of the year.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've got some good players there. They've got some good high-end talent that can put the puck in the net. They've had the ability on defense with, like you say, 5 pretty solid import D. Where's the question mark?
I'll give you 2 question marks. You tell me what you think. Ryan Hand should have gone at Christmas. He's an entertaining player. He just won the Hull Stingrays most popular player by the supporters, but he didn't give the Hull Stingrays any kind of offence. And it's all very well having a showman, having a fighter, having a guy who sells the replica shirts, but at the end of the day, they're not in the playoffs. They needed a player who could score. And the second point I'd make to you, a bit of a controversial one, but the Ben Bounds experiment, did it work? 2 victories on the road in conference play, didn't win a shootout. did the Bounds experiment work?
Well, you look
Discuss.
at you look at Boundsy, and to be fair, I mean I've played with Ben here in Sheffield, and when a teams consistently are giving up 40, 50 shots a game, I mean realistically you can't always blame a netminder, can you?
And Sylvain Cloutier obviously doesn't blame him because he's going to re-sign.
Yeah, I mean, so if you can cut those chances down by a third, now you're giving yourself even more of a chance. Is it more that you might need to get more players in shooting lanes and blocking shots and giving up bodies and clearing the front of the net? He did take him into shootouts.
Yeah, it's a tough call as well when a player is so popular in the fan base.
Yeah.
And the fans really like him, and ownership and coaches, they've got to kind of pamper, if you like, to the supporters, have a popular product on the ice. But at the end of the day, you're finishing bottom and you're not going through to the quarterfinals. You've also got to win hockey games as well, haven't you?
Well, you do. It's a delicate balance, isn't it? You got to be a player that plays hard and entertains and does everything, and that's what the league likes. The league likes to see showmen. They like to see all this. They like other teams love to have players that the fans all hate. Yeah. So I mean, is he going to be around next year? Did he do enough this year to warrant another contract? We'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Some highlights from this game. We want to see super sexy moments. I think we all gave us one, didn't we? And he's got a couple, and he's been a good find for the Dundee Stars. We missed to talk about them a little bit, but that was his first.
Yeah, nice. Just a nice little tap. And this one here impressed me there. I mean, you get a pass from behind the net, you go forehand, backhand, and you have the ability to put it top shelf like that. It's a great play. And then you look at stuff that goes on here. Don't know what sparked it all off, do we?
Well, Cloutier, obviously, he's absolutely fuming, and he gets well held back. Good job O'Hanrahan was there. He's probably the only linesman that could have held him back, but he did a good job there. And
and just carried on, like you say.
What's Anne doing here?
It's already done and dusted here. And why are you still pounding away at a player that's already been down? Yeah. Is that just because no one's holding you back, or because you've lost the plot?
Yeah.
Or that, to me, that's not entertaining anybody. That's just trying to injure somebody when they're down.
Exactly.
You look at the fighter's code. Guy goes down. You don't sit there pounding away, especially in his ribs. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Not going to do any good there, are you?
No.
Time for a break. When we come back, Edinburgh versus Fife in the Gardner Conference, round 2 of the weekend. Don't go anywhere.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. Head off to Murrayfield Ice Rink now. The Caps taking on the Fife Flyers. So important in the league for those playoff positions. So important in the Gardner Conference. Take it away, Chris.
So, Edinburgh and Fife Part 2. The Flyers won on Saturday night in their own barn. How would they fare in Murrayfield? The Caps were one of the formed sides in the Elite League, but they've struggled a bit of late, and it was the Flyers who took the lead at 5:05. Hogg with his 28th goal of the season. But Edinburgh have been strong all season at home. No surprise when Hartman scored 12 minutes gone. It was a 1-1 hockey game going into the second period. There was only one goal in period 2, and it went the way of Fife Flyers. Scramble in front of the net. All sorts of players trying to get the puck, trying to get it towards net, trying to get it away from net, but it was Turnbull with a second goal for the club. So 2-1 Flyers at the end of 2 periods. To period 3 now. The Caps had a power play, and Yarrelin and Leanweber, 2 of their top players this season, set up Portwood. A 10th goal of the season. We're level at 2. Coming towards the midway point now in the 3rd period, and the Flyers, they started to take some control. Haynes and Muir with the assists. What an important goal for Chaumont, a 30th goal of the year. It's 3-2. And exactly 4 minutes later, breaking into the offensive zone, sees Turnbull get a second of the night. Edinburgh 2, Fife Flyers 4.
What a weekend then for Tad Dutium and the Fife Flyers. I mean, they'd have gone into that a little nervous, probably been happy to take a split, come out with 4 points, flip that around though, and the Edinburgh Capitals, who'd been so strong, kind of got a little bit tense, didn't they?
They seem to be holding back a little bit. We looked in front of the net there. We were looking at the goals, and in that game, 4 out of 5 were 6 feet away. So you're not strong in front of your own net. We said it in the last game as well that they played. You got to be strong in front of the net. If you're not, you're going to give up chances, and you can't afford to give goals up like that all the time.
It's going to be a tense, nervous weekend, that final weekend in the Gardner Conference. We'll have all the fixtures and schedules to come. Still one more game, though, to come from last weekend, and it was to the Motorpoint Arena in Sheffield. Gerard Adams took his Cardiff Devils side in. How did they get on?
Sheffield could have been forgiven for having one eye on their Challenge Cup final. First leg with Nottingham, played 3 days after this game, but they came out firing against the Devils and took the lead through a former Cardiff player. A nice solo skate there from Tyler Michel, a 24th of the season with only 69 seconds gone, and it came on the power play with Gimblett in the box. But back came the Devils, Mark Richardson scoring a third of the season. That one also on the power play. The game was level at 1-1. And then a break down the right-hand side, and driving the net was Jeff Legree, and it was 2-1 Sheffield at 8:21. So an entertaining start to the game. We hadn't even reached the halfway point of the first period. Still, the goals rained in, but there was also a bit of feistiness. Tyler Michel there done for interference, so he was to sit in the penalty box for a couple of minutes. So the Sheffield Steelers had to go on the penalty kill. And you see here a good setup for the Cardiff Devils. 5-on-3 at this stage. They worked it well, and all alone at the back door, Max Beerbrauer, an 18th goal of the season. That was 2-2, still in period 1. And again, another power play goal, but this time for the Steelers. They were coming forward. They had only 6 shots on goal in the first period, compared to Cardiff's 12. So they actually scored 50% of them. This one was nicely worked. It was patient by them, but there was rebounds in front, and it was Limpright who finally pounced for his 20th goal of the season. You'll see on the slow-mo replay, comes in here, it takes a few deflections. Where's it going? It's all sorts of different places, and it actually comes back to Limpright, who manages to pounce and roof the puck into the back of the net for a 3-2 first period lead for the Sheffield Steelers. In period 2, things got better for the Steelers. 9-5. They had shots on goal in their favour. Ashley Tate jumping onto the rebound there at 29-0-1 for 4-2. One more goal in period 2. In fact, one more goal in the game. It was scored by Harding, his second of the season. Final score, Sheffield 4, Cardiff Devils 3.
4-point weekend then for the Sheffield Steelers with that victory over the Coventry Blaze on Saturday and the Devils on Sunday. They'll go into the Challenge Cup final against the Panthers in good spirits and in good form.
Definitely, yeah. You want to go in, obviously, with a victory underneath you going in a couple of days later. You know, the power play was clicking very, very well for them. Again, some good shooting, some good plays, some good passing. And it's a bonus. Nottingham's going to have to be careful.
Off camera, you and I were just talking about Bruce Graham at Nottingham. Slow start, then he came on in abundance, and you said sometimes it just takes a while to find your feet in the league. Another player like that's been Sean Limpright, scored a nice goal there, but he's been a player that post-Christmas has just found the league nice and accommodating.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does take a little bit of getting used to. I know when I first came over, it took a good 6-8 weeks for me to get used to it, and that was way back. So you're looking at it now, and sometimes it just takes maybe moving from wing to center or whatever, or just finding a different line, a different combination to click.
It's true. I almost fired him twice in the first 8 weeks he was over here. Good old Solihull days. Folks, you've seen all the highlights, you've seen all the action. Let's just remind you of all the results from last weekend around the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League. It started on Friday evening with the Belfast Giants going down 5-3 to the Panthers, who were then crowned Elite League champions. The Belfast Giants on Saturday beat the Panthers 5-2, the Steelers 8-3 over the Coventry Blaze. The Cardiff Devils all but ending the Hull Stingrays playoff hopes with a 4-2 victory. The Braehead Clan 6-3 over the Dundee Stars, and the Flyers just rampant against the Edinburgh Capitals 5-1. Flip forward Sunday, Sheffield 4-3 over the Devils. The Stars 5-0 over the Stingrays, and the Edinburgh Capitals going home 4-2 to the 5 Flyers. Take a quick look at the two conferences first. You'll see that the Belfast Giants can still win the Erdhart Conference. I'll explain how important that could be in a moment, but we'll take a quick look at the Gardner that's enthralled us all the way through. In my opinion, it's Braehead and Dundee, who play tonight, Friday. What a game that's going to be. And whoever wins that will be, I would have thought, favourites to progress as Gardner Conference champions. Let's muddle it all up and see how it comes out. The Panthers champions, of course, in yellow. Belfast, Sheffield, Coventry and Cardiff already qualified. Fife, Edinburgh, Braehead and Dundee. Mathematically possible for the Hull Stingrays, but folks, it's not going to happen. Braehead, Dundee, would you agree it's between those two for the Gardner?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a big battle, and again, got to stay under control and see who can come out and stay off the power play.
Okay, right, let's take a look at the fixtures then. On this final league weekend before we get into playoff action, we suggest you were taking a game. There's some crackers as well, and they've all got a little bit of meaning. The Sheffield Steelers and the Hull Stingrays. Sheffield, 7:30 Saturday. Coventry versus Belfast. Belfast need to beat the Blaze if they are going to be Erdhart Conference champions. Dundee versus Edinburgh. Doesn't need me to tell you how important those Gardner Conference games are. Fife versus Braehead. There's your Saturday night viewing. On Sunday, the Steelers taking on the Giants, the Devils, the Nottingham Panthers, Edinburgh Capitals, the Dundee Stars. I think the Caps will make it through to the final 8. And then the Hull Stingrays taking on the Coventry Blaze. You'll be able to see all the action, all the goals, and you'll be able to find out who wins the two conferences on next week's show. It's an early start. Set your recorder. 1 a.m. on Sky Sports 2, 6 a.m. on Sky Sports 2 on Saturday. Our repeat. Folks, there's going to be some cheers. There's going to be a lot of tears in the final weekend of the Elite League. Make sure you're taking the game. We'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.